This video is completely unscripted. I want to make this video as soon as possible, and writing a script out is not very fast. So, yeah, here's on to my ranting. You probably already knew this, but Spider-Man 2 recently announced a gameplay trailer of, basically things that you're going to have to expect for this new game. And I thought it was pretty cool. It was during that PlayStation showcase about a month ago. So, what about this is so unique that I had to make an entire video about it? Well, I noticed one thing about the video that really nobody else is talking about. Kind of weird, but it does. You might think that what I'm talking about is kind of irrelevant, but it might actually, make things. Well, I don't know how to describe it, but think about it this way. It's might seem simple, but the implications could be completely insane for what could happen in the game, and I want to make sure I make this video to show that I came up with the idea first. So I don't know if anybody else has seen this already, but in the Spider-Man 2 gameplay trailer, you might notice that both the Spider people, they have these special abilities that they can do. Of course, you're probably going to say, how does this matter? But you might notice something a bit different about Miles Morales on this gameplay trailer. You might see that the special abilities that he has are different colors from each other. He has blue ones and yellow ones. Now, why do I bring this up? Well, the only special moves that he uses in the entire gameplay trailer are the blue ones. He never uses the yellow ones. But looking at the icon, you might notice that the icons kind of look similar to something we've already seen. Specifically, the right one and the bottom one. You can easily tell that the right one is supposed to be the Venom Punch, which is the iconic Spider-Man move that was advertised for Miles Morales. And the second one that you see on the bottom, that one's the Venom Jump that he does, when you press, I think it's R1 and X, or it might be L1 and X. Yeah, it's L1 and X. You see, those combos that you did in that game? Well, they're going to be returning. But you might notice that if those two came back, then what about the other ones? You're not going to bring back the Venom Punch and the Venom Jump without the Venom Dash and the Venom Blast. His name's kind of unoriginal, but basically, why would you bring back all of this extra stuff, all these special moves, just these two special moves, and not the other ones? That makes no sense. So, what I'm going to say, which is probably how it's going to happen, is that you unlock these special abilities throughout the game. I don't know exactly how they're going to do it. There's a few possibilities that I'd like to talk about in a minute, but it's quite interesting to think that Spider-Man is going to have unlockable abilities. It's not the same thing as the special suit powers that you got from Spider-Man 1, which basically do different things per suit, and it's not the same thing as the suit mods and visors. It's a completely new thing. Basically, it's just getting versions of suit power. It's not suit powers. It's basically Venom Punch, but in different variants. So, yeah, let me talk about the possibilities, which in this, I think there's probably about 3 different possibilities on how they could take this. The first possibility is that these special powers are unlockable by collecting the suits throughout the game. Now, what do I mean? I think it's pretty obvious what I mean. Basically, you just replace what the suit powers did with these special abilities. You can equip up to 4 of them, and the more you unlock, the more special abilities you can do. Kind of that thing. So, how would this work? Well, you would have a special ability that's attached to each unique character, or not each character, but each costume, and those special abilities are equipable, kind of like how the suit power is, but instead there's 4 of them, and it's not nearly as powerful, and you basically just do those powers. Of course, I don't think this is going to be the exact way that they're going to do it, because first off, they're going to have probably quite a few costumes, and I doubt that they're going to be able to just make the costumes have unique suit powers when they're just variants of the same thing. What, are you going to have Spider-Man Noir pull out guns or something? I doubt that they're going to do something like that. They're probably going to do something different, which is my second point, or my third point, either one. My second point, and most likely option, is that they're probably going to be unlockable through these like side quests that you just do, kind of like how in Taskmaster, like the Taskmaster quest and the Fisk Tower quest, all that stuff, and also in Miles Morales there'd be like the Roxxon bases and stuff like that. You know, those kinds of quests. You could imagine that he get like the characters unlock the powers through those side quests, but I feel like that would be quite limiting because you'd have to make the side quests like related to those powers, and I don't see a way to do that without making it so that the power is part of the side quest and just overtakes it. So this one is another possibility, but I'm not sure about it. Okay? I think my third possibility is the most likely. Third, but not the worst, the possibility of these suit powers being unlockable through the story or just being unlockable through tokens. I don't really like the idea of just unlocking suit powers by not suit powers, these like special abilities through like just buying them, kind of like I do for the web shooters in Spider-Man 1, like the Spider-Man PS4. But I mean, it makes sense. It feels like something they would do, but I don't like that idea. It just doesn't feel right. And with them, the other thing is that they could make it so that you unlock them through the main quests, just gradually. That also works, but it doesn't feel quite as special, kind of. I mean, like, you're just gonna get it anyways, but, you know, you don't pick and choose. You just get them, and once you get to, like, the later on in the story, those special abilities, like, depending on how good they are, the earlier ones are probably gonna overtake the better, like, the older ones, because you're gonna be more used to those ones. So, what's the point if you do that? It is, but definitely most possible. But I feel like there's probably too many problems with the idea for it to actually work. So, yeah, that's the third possibility. Okay, well, with all that said, what's next? Well, I think that Peter, Miles, and the symbiote are all going to have special abilities separate from each other, because I highly doubt that Peter Parker is going to have the same symbiote powers throughout the entire game. Especially with the fact that not only is there costumes in the game that are Peter related, not symbiote related, that we've already seen, specifically the Arachnite suit, and we've already seen in the announcement trailer back in like 2021, was it? I can't remember, it was a while ago. He was using the Iron Spider arms, which is weird. Like, think about it. That's not a symbiote power, that is a Peter Parker power. Why would Peter Parker have a separate skill tree from Spider-Man? Like, why would Peter have two different skill trees? That doesn't really make sense. Unless there's a problem. Well, here's a problem, okay? One thing they're probably going to do is make it so that the symbiote unlocks special abilities throughout the entire game, okay? Well, that's the thing. You're not going to be playing the entire game as the symbiote Spider-Man. He's probably going to lose the symbiote because you fight Venom in the game. If Venom's around, how the hell are you going to explain freaking Peter Parker having symbiote suit? Having any symbiote powers at all? I mean, the box art shows Peter Parker in his normal costume with the symbiote using his powers despite not being a part, to get, bonded, but that's just probably for show to show that Spider-Man does have the symbiote suit. I don't think that's really anything to mark about, but it's possible. But there's a few possibilities, okay? So, first off, you got the possibility that you just keep the symbiote, Web of Shadow style. You keep the symbiote throughout the entire game, and you can swap between them in like an instant kind of thing. Now, I can imagine this. This is definitely something that's possible, and they're probably going to do this. But there's another possibility. They're going to make it so that after you lose the symbiote and you beat Venom, the symbiote debonds from whoever's bonded to Venom, and you can just rebond with the symbiote to unlock the special abilities and suits and stuff like that. With a third possibility being that this is more conspiracy theory, but what if by the end of the game you can have Venom as a playable character. This is very unlikely, but think about it. This would solve basically every problem. You would have the Peter abilities, the Miles abilities, and the Venom abilities all at the same time without needing to really do much. Of course, there's still a few problems with this. First of all, how the hell are we supposed to switch between Miles and Peter? Is there some type of menu, or is this a button that you press, like the right button or left button on the D-pad? Or is this like a like you know how in Batman Arkham City, where you can go to these specific spots that have cats around it, where you can just press square to swap between Felicia. It's not Felicia. It's freaking Selena. Whatever. You can swap between Catwoman and Batman like that, or are they gonna make it so that there's just straight up a button that just GTA styles friggin' teleports you straight to wherever the next character is? I could imagine that, but how do you make it so that there's multiple characters? You would have to make it so that each character is representative of a button. And in Spider-Man, in the Spider-Man games, you might notice that the left and right buttons don't actually do anything. Like in Miles Morales, you can set those buttons to short keys, like, you know, shortcuts to special abilities. But in the first game, the left and right buttons don't do anything. Like, the up button, I think, opens up the camera, and the down button does something. I don't remember what. I think what does the down button do? I forgot. Well, anyways, the down button does nothing, I don't think. Well, you could have it so that left and right, you can swap between. Like, if you're playing as Miles, you can swap between Peter or Venom, or if you're playing as Peter, you can swap between Miles and Venom, like that kind of thing. But I still don't think they're going to make it so you can play as Venom, because that kind of does feel weird. Unless they make it so that Venom isn't the same person on the underside. Like, just imagine this. I think a possibility, this is just speculation, but imagine this. Instead of Venom being just one person under the symbiote, what if it's multiple people over time? Like, different people swap, like the symbiote suit swaps between different people. Just imagine that, okay? So you got Peter Parker. He starts out as Venom, you know, being, well, not really Venom. He's just symbiote Spider-Man. But just imagine this. He becomes the first Venom, okay? And after that, the symbiote debonds thanks to probably a boss fight between Miles and Peter. I mean, that works perfectly because one of the established symbiote weaknesses is electricity. So, since Miles does have electricity powers, it does work very well in that situation. My voice has changed. Friggin', there's also the fact that, you know, I don't think Harry Osborn, the person that is infected by some type of virus or something, probably genetic disease, I don't think he's going to make it through this game alive. There's no chance, okay? I highly doubt that Harry Osborn is going to be Venom. There is, like, a very low likelihood of that. Because, remember, he is dying, okay? Think about it. If a man is dying, and you are wearing the exact thing that stops him from dying, how the hell is he supposed to slow down his death rate? Especially since he's been wearing the symbiote since the first game, which is like freaking about 10 months ago, like literally almost 10 months prior to the game Spider-Man 2, because, I mean, the first game does not take place during the winter, and the second, like the Miles Morales, does take place during winter, so there's a few months between that. And we have been confirmed that Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man Miles Morales are 6 months apart, so this guy's been, like, attached to the symbiote for, like, 8 to 10 months at this point. So, okay, now, what's up with that? Well, I mean, if he's detached from that, you could not, like, there's probably no way that he could survive within, like, 50% of the game. Like, just without the symbiote. Like, this guy is on life support. If you cut off his life support, he's just gonna die, like, soon after. I mean, he is alive by the time that Spider-Man and Miles Morales are trying to get Craven to turn back to Connors. Why did I say Craven back to Connors? What the No, the Lizard back to Connors. There's, like, a very low likelihood that Harry Osborn is going to survive that. So, okay, who else could be who else could be Venom? Well, you got a few options. I think Norman Osborn is a good candidate, but I don't know about that. Okay, so Norman Osborn, he's normally the Green Goblin. He has been. I think he's been Venom at like probably once, but that was in like a whole world is symbiote kind of thing, not just him being specifically the symbiote. And Harry, like, okay, I also want to bring up another point against Harry Osborn being the symbiote in the like I don't know what it was. I think it was a Games Fest or something like that. I don't remember what it was called. Spider-Man 2 showed up. It was like you saw the pre-order bonus and stuff like that. Okay, so what's up with that? Okay, well he said friggin' like the guy that's actually working on the game. I think he's like the creative director or something. He says that
it is not Eddie
it's
Brock.
not Eddie Brock, and that it's a unique story. So, okay, well, if it's not a story that's ever been, he straight up says it's not been a story that's ever been in any movie or comic book.
Our goal was to tell an original story, something you haven't seen in the comics or the movies yet. Obviously,
but I mean, you could also count a TV show as a comic book, okay? And Harry Osborn in the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon, which was not very good, but he was Venom in that story. He was literally Venom in that show, okay? So if he were to say that and then Harry Osborn ends up being Venom, that just doesn't work because then he'd be just lying at that point. Or he would just be wrong and he doesn't know about Ultimate Spider-Man. But, I mean, if you're working on a Spider-Man game, I'm sure you're going to know a little bit more about Spider-Man, like different Spider-Man media, than just surface-level knowledge, especially with how long he's been working on Spider-Man games. Since he's been, I think this is the same guy that started working on Spider-Man, PS4, but I actually don't know that. I'd have to look it up, but if this guy's been around since 2018 and he's still making Spider-Man games in 2023, he probably knows about different storylines, like the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon and all kinds of other things. So if it's not Eddie Brock, and if it's not Harry Osborn, then it's possible that he's Norman Osborn, which is definitely a possibility. And I also think it could be someone else like Flash Thompson, but that'd be more like an Agent Venom kind of thing, not just regular Venom. So, best candidate, Norman Osborn. But if we're going to go back to what we were talking about a bit ago, where Venom is a playable character, I don't think Norman with a vendetta, where he just hates Spider-Man for taking the suit that was supposed to save his son's life, I don't think he'd be willing to work with Spider-Man. Okay? Well, then how do you solve this? How would Venom be a playable character after that, then? Huh? Well, just have somebody else as Venom. You don't need Peter Parker to be Venom, and you don't need Norman Osborn to be Venom. So, who could it be? Who could be Venom in this game that after Norman Osborn? Well, I mean, there's a few options. I think the most likely and most comic accurate would probably be Agent Venom, especially since he's a character that works. He has used the Venom suit before, and he is very efficient and in control of the symbiote, unlike Eddie Brock and probably Norman Osborn. So he would work rather well as a playable character, especially since that he's never I don't think Flash Thompson has ever been in a Spider-Man game, ever. I mean, he might have been in a Spider-Man game, actually. I'm not sure, but I think he's probably been in Ultimate Spider-Man, but I doubt that. And he also probably was in, one of the... I don't think he was... Actually, I don't think friggin' Flash Thompson has ever been in a single Spider-Man game. And, the Lego games and the stuff like that, that doesn't count. Okay? Agent Venom and friggin' Marvel Superheroes 2 does not count, okay? So, this would be the first time in any Spider-Man game where you would see Agent Venom as a character, at all. This would be, that's very unique, okay? That would be the first time. So, that would work, okay? So, the third possibility, Agent Venom is the Venom character that you keep. It still has all the Venom abilities, okay? So, that's how it is. Okay, you got the Spider-Man, Agent Venom, and Miles Morales. Why did I call Peter Parker not Spider-Man? Okay, whatever. That's basically my idea. Rant for 13 minutes, almost 13 minutes. My God. So this video's already gone like probably 16, 17 minutes. Wow. Okay, well, now that we've talked about that, it's time to move on to costumes that I feel like are going to be in the game. Okay, so I feel like there's going to be a lot of returning costumes, but not all of them. I don't think they're going to bring back things like Ghost Spider or the Ends of the Earth suit, because those suits are kind of weird, and they're kind of, like, that's a Spider-Man PS4 kind of thing. I feel like they're just going to do something new, okay? So, what are they going to do for any returning costumes? Well, I think that they're going to update a few costumes. Ones I feel like they would update the most would probably be costumes like Spider-Man 2099, for obvious reasons. Spider-Man Noir. Noir, like the Noir suit. And I think this isn't really something that I feel like they're going to do, but I feel like they should update costumes like the Scarlet Spider and the Kane Scarlet Spider suit. So, you got those suits, and there's probably going to be other suits like the Sensational Spider-Man or Spider-Man Unlimited, or even like the one that goes to space with Miles. I can't remember that one. But got those costumes. I feel like that the costumes that are probably going to be added are, like, I feel like what costumes are going to be updated and why is, like, got Spider-Man 2099. He's like this costume. Like, originally, his costume has a cape. Like, in the comics, he has a cape on his costume. I feel like they're going to put that cape back on Spider-Man. That is something that they're going to do on him. There is no chance they're not going to do that, okay? That is just something that they are flat out going to do, because Spider-Man 2099 is probably one of the most popular Spider-Man characters, and having a Spider-Man game that has Peter in it without the Spider-Man 2099 costume is a complete and utter bit of bullshit. So, yeah, okay? We got friggin' the 2099 suit. So, what else? I feel like they're going to put a trench coat on Spider-Man 2099. Not Spider-Man 20. I feel like they're going to put a trench coat on Spider-Man Noir. That is something that I would not doubt, because that would be cool. Imagine swinging through the city and this dude has friggin' like the trench coat on, and you can see the trench coat flowing in the air. Like, Spider-Man in the Marvel's Avengers games has a trench coat, but I mean, that game sucks ass, so who cares? But I feel like they're gonna bring back that trench coat, and I think they also, I don't know, I don't really like the mask all too much. It's too, like, I think the thing with Spider-Man Noir is that there's two different variants of the mask. There's the one in the comics where his, like, the lenses, they're normal, they're not like bright white like on the covers, and his, like, the mouth area is like gray, and I don't really think that looks all too good. Like, it looks too futuristic for like the 1930s or whatever the game's supposed to, like, that show is supposed to, not show, that comic's supposed to take place in. But I feel like the comic cover version, where he doesn't have that gray bit on his mouth and his, like, goggles are glowing white, that would be the best version of Noir that you can probably put in this game. Okay, well, what about the Scarlet Spider suit, Ben Reilly? Well, I don't really like Ben Reilly's suit in the first game because there's too many lines. Like, I know, like, the costume I know about with, like, Ben Reilly is that his costume is just red spandex with a blue freaking hoodless jacket and web shooters on his hands with some type of weird thing on his feet and a brown belt. That is freaking Ben Reilly. And this costume looks too damn tactical. Like, bruh, this guy had, like, Ben Reilly is basically homeless. There's no damn way that he has a house or anything. There's no way that he can afford all this tactical shit on his costume. So, if you're gonna have, like, a tactical looking freaking Ben Reilly, that makes no sense. He does not have the money to afford that. So why would he have all these damn lines? It's annoying. And then you got the Kane suit. I think it's alright. It's just the only problem I have with it is the red lines that are just there on the black bits. Like, that makes no sense. Like, it just doesn't work for me. I think they need to remove that. And Sensational Spider-Man, yeah, people really wanted that suit in this game, so, like, in the last game, so I would not doubt that it's probably going to be added. Like, and also another suit that I know they're going to add it, because people will be pissed if they don't, is the TASM 2 suit. Like, there's no damn way they're not going to do that. Speaking of suits, what about the symbiote? Is he going to get suits? I think that they're going to give the symbiote Spider-Man suit, yeah. I highly doubt that they're going to just not give this man suits. That would be, like, sacrilegious and evil to do, just to not give Spider-Man, like, any kind of costumes. And, like, specifically symbiote Spider-Man. Why would you give the other two costumes, but not this one? That would be utter bullshit. Just, like, come on. You gotta give this dude costumes. So, like, what costumes would you give him? Well, I mean, you got... there's an obvious, like, there's two obvious ones. One that's more comic accurate than the one that you see in the game, because people don't really like how, like, armorish and kind of weird it looks. They prefer the cloth costume kind of look. So I highly would not doubt that... I definitely wouldn't doubt that they would add that. Along with, like, the friggin' Spider-Man 3 cut, like, black suit. Like, that's probably one of the most iconic versions of the symbiote suit, like, ever. So if you don't add that one, people are just gonna, like, have riots in the streets. So do that. And I think that they're probably, the vintage suit. I highly doubt that they're not, like, they're gonna bring that back. I don't doubt that they're gonna bring it back. Why did I say that? I doubted it was. Anyways, I feel like they're gonna bring that costume back, but they're also gonna make a symbiote variant where it looks like the symbiote suit with, like, correct shading and everything, and that would be also cool. But I feel like the costume, it's like the vintage suit, probably needs an update to look more like the actual comic book, instead of just being a comic book filter version of the classic suit. Like, give them a different symbol, give them different lenses. Like, I think the coolest one for, like, a symbiote Spider, not even symbiote Spider-Man, just, I think for a vintage suit, like, I think the 90s Spider-Man, where he's like, I think the person that made it was Mark Bagley. I'm not sure about that, but the 90s costume is probably, like, I like the giant ass lenses on Spider-Man for that costume. It's, like, one of my favorite parts of it, and I feel like if they added a vintage suit, I would want that one to be adapted. Especially, I think they would probably work that also, like, that design also with the symbiote variant too, because, like, that'd be cool. Just imagine. But there's also probably a few other suits, so let me think. You got suits that are probably going to get in the game. There's also... Okay, I'm not sure about this one, okay? Since I don't think technically Insomniac has the rights to get this suit in the game, because I don't know about the rights, but okay. Web of Shadows has both a normal Spider-Man and a symbiote Spider-Man costume. It's probably one of the most iconic Spider-Man games ever because of that. But okay, well, that game isn't really owned by, like, it's technically, like, the rights are technically not from, like, the publishing rights for those games are for Activision and not Marvel's, like, Sony Studio, like Sony or whatever. Like, you can't, like, they own those games, the rights to, like, distribute those games, okay? Well, I would also imagine that the people that, like, own the rights to distribute the assets and costume designs for those games also probably would, like, prevent those costumes from being in a different game that's not, like, being published by Activision. I mean, you could definitely do it, but I feel like it would just be a bunch of legal trouble to try to put, like, I think the best examples would be Spider-Man Edge of Time, Spider-Man Web of Shadows, and the Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions costumes. Let's do, for example, the, Web of Shadows, obviously. Edge of Time, we could do the main, normal Peter Parker costume with all the messy webbing, because people love that costume. And then you can also probably throw in the Ultimate Spider-Man costume for, like, the symbiote and his regular version. Like, you could probably throw that in too if you have the rights to put that in there. But, like, again, I'm not like anybody that actually knows anything about, like, laws and stuff like that. this is just me assuming that, like, if you have the publishing rights for a video game, you probably aren't going to allow, like, the original designs from your video game to be reused in somebody else's, like, copyrighted material. So, yeah, I don't know if it actually is, but it probably is. So, there's that. What's another costume that'd be cool? I don't know. I feel like the No Way Home, like, post, everything costume would be kind of nice. I don't even know if they're going to put that in the game, but I feel like they probably are. I don't know. And yeah, let me think of other costumes. Miles Morales. I don't know about it, but imagine if they give Miles Morales a Spider-Man costume that looks like the original Ultimate Spider-Man comics costume that you saw back in, like, the before it became the all-new Ultimate Comics, all-new Spider-Man, where it was Miles. What if they just make it so that one of his costumes is just Peter Parker's previous costume before, in, like, the comics, before Miles became Spider-Man in that universe? I feel like a cool idea would be to make, like, one of his costumes, like, the Ultimate Spider-Man costume. But then again, I highly doubt it, because that is just kind of messed up to put Miles Morales in the Peter Parker costume with specifically the Peter Parker that died, like, on a Queen Street. Like, that'd be kind of like just wrong, I guess, because he's wearing a dead guy's costume. But, like, there's also a bunch of dead people in, like, the first game too, so there's that. But I mean, the story implications just doesn't really work. Especially with the fact that the Ultimate Spider-Man costume is a Peter Parker costume and not a Miles Morales costume. The only reason why I would say Miles Morales would work in that costume is because they're both from the same, like, originally Miles Morales was from the Ultimate Spider-Man universe. But that's the only reason why I would say that. So yeah, there's that. There's probably also going to be, like, 20 new original costume ideas, because they've already made 10 original costume ideas for the Digital Deluxe Edition, which apparently, if you get the disc, you can upgrade the disc to the Digital Deluxe Edition, but you still need the disc to do that. But that's a nice feature, honestly. I don't want to get the Digital Deluxe because I like having games physical. But it's just, why did I start mentioning that? Anyways, those costumes that you could see that are 10 original costumes for both Peter Parker and Miles Morales, you can see that they both, like, they're all original costumes made by the game's developers, okay? So, there's no damn way they're not going to add more original costumes by them, or even just fan costumes that were, like, say, just, they said, hey, your costume's pretty cool. You want to throw your costume in our game? Like, just imagine that. That'd be pretty cool. I mean, I think they did that in the first two games, like in Miles Morales and Spider-Man. I think the Arachnorider suit, like, that you got, like, that was one of the update ones. They came with the advanced spider armor suit, and what was the third one that came with that? I forgot. It was the TASM 1 suit. Like, that suit, I think it was called Arachnorider. I don't know. That suit, I think that's a fan design that was translated into the game. And I think I don't know what it's called. It's the weird, like, red rubber looking one in Miles Morales with, like, the red webbing and the gauntlets and all the yellow lightning bolt stuff on it. I can't remember what it looks like, but I just remember that in that game there was a costume that was made by a fan. That would work. Along with, like, the anniversary suit. I forgot exactly what anniversary for Miles Morales. That'd be cool. So, yeah, that's basically all I could come up with the suits. Wow, this video is going on for maybe a little too long. Now that I've talked about, costumes that are probably going to be in the game, they're probably going to update and add and stuff like that, and I've talked about this, about unlocking the suit powers and how they're going to keep those suit powers, what else is there to talk about? Well, I mean, I have no idea about gadgets, since gadgets is like a unique thing that you could probably make anything about. But I feel like they're going to make it so that you can only equip 4 at a time, while having more than just 4 gadgets. That's probably going to be something that they're going to do. So there's that. along with one thing I just want to talk about is just ideas of what they could do for suit powers, like not suit powers, special abilities. Like, I don't know what they're gonna do. I know that they have Harry attacks, like that you have to do. That's a special ability, and like all this extra stuff. Like, the Venom punch is in there, and I know that like chain lightning and the other one I forgot the name of, that all that stuff is in there. So we know that like what kind of basis we're gonna have for the special abilities. So what would they add that would be like cool for a Spider-Man game? That would be like cool special abilities. Well, if they're doing the whole you'll unlock the abilities through suits, I feel like Spider-Man 2099 would probably do some kind of like slash attack, like how he does in the Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions and Edge of Time game. Like, those attacks are probably some of the coolest versions of his like moves I've seen, especially since it's like that's basically just nostalgia talking, because I played Spider-Man 2099. I played Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions and Edge of Time all the time as a kid, so yeah, there's that. But what's another suit? Noir? In the comics, Noir doesn't really have the ability to swing around and stuff like that, but he does have webbing. It's just that it's not the same way that like say Peter Parker from the Earth 616 universe has. I think a cool ability for him would be to like spray webs all across like an area, like just think like Web Blossom from the first game, but it's not as powerful because it doesn't push people right onto walls. It just sticks them up like a web bomb. That's basically a cool idea for that. Instead of him using just guns. Holy shit, I came up with a cool costume that'd be in the game. You know that, okay, so it's a kind of spoilers, but in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, there's a cowboy Spider-Man called like Web Slinger. I just want to say this before like I start talking again. And I was playing freaking what's it called? Spider-Man. It wasn't Spider-Man. Lego Marvel Superheroes 2, and I looked at Spider Bandit. I was like, he wasn't even in the game. I think I was just watching a video with Spider-Man in it, but I thought that was like a stupid ass name. Why would you call him Spider Bandit and not Web Slinger? That's like a really good name for a cowboy Spider-Man. And I literally predicted it. Okay, that's just me just saying something, but that felt kind of cool when I heard somebody say web slinger, and I was like, hey, wait a minute, he took that from me. But back on topic, if they add a web slinger costume, because I highly doubt they're not going to do that. Like he has a freaking what is it called, a poncho and like a hat. Like his costume would be so damn cool. Just imagine having a freaking cowboy Spider-Man in a Spider-Man game. That would be like the coolest thing. But for him, I feel like a possibility, like there's probably multiple possibilities for this one, but I feel like the most realistic one is him pulling out that web shotgun that he has in the movie, where it's like it's a double barrel, but instead of shooting bullets, it just shoots web pellets at like his enemies. That'd be a cool special ability, but I don't know how they're gonna implement that. I don't know. I feel like that'd be a cool costume though. What's other things? I got no idea. Like, let me think. What's Spider-Man? Okay, Iron Spider found. I feel like he's probably gonna just have the Iron Spider arms. That's obvious, but it's gonna be like a special attack instead of being just you get extra damage, stuff like that. I don't think they're gonna do that. I think they're just gonna make it to the Iron Spider is a special move or something like that. So there's that. Yeah, that's all I got for special moves. Okay, well, now we're at the end of the video, unless I come up with any random ideas that I want to add later. But I just want to say real quick, first off, I am really damn sorry that you guys had to suffer through this, terrible ass mic quality, because I don't really have anything better than a Turtle Beach, $32 headset that I'm not even wearing. I'm just holding it. And I don't have much better than, Audacity. I have Audacity, but Audacity's not that bad. I don't have any, what is it called? Uh, brain fart. You know the whole thing where you can put it on the wall? It's like a foam that you put on the walls that, like, removes echoing. I forgot what it's called, but it's that. I don't have any... Soundproofing, that's what it is. I don't have any soundproofing or anything like that. I mean, I could cover myself with a blanket, but that doesn't really... that just feels weird. Kind of cramped. So, and I also don't want you guys hearing a blanket. So there's that. And also, if I get louder or quieter like this, I'm not moving my mic away from myself. I'm, like, adjusting the stuff. Like, and there's also the fact that, like, this entire video was completely unscripted. But honestly, the thing is that if I'm scripting a video, I'll take multiple attempts on just one line, and I find it so damn annoying that I can't get the thing I want to say out right the first time. And since I was going to originally just write a script for this and then just read out the script, I've just, like, realized that, honestly, it's probably going to be way faster and way easier for me just to randomly rant about this stuff. So, yeah, sorry about just not feeling like this video is cohesive or anything. And there's also that, and the fact that I don't upload that much. But it's kind of late, but about 2 months ago, like, it was my 17th birthday, so go me, 17-year-old. There's also that I've been uploading a lot of songs instead of just regular videos lately. And that's mainly because, first off, I want to show off my songs to my friends without them having to download them. So, yeah, I put them on YouTube for people to listen to. And there's also that I just don't... I want to keep uploading videos. Like, I want to make videos. I came up with, like, 5 or 6 video ideas. Like, one of them was, like, a response video to the SK whole thing where he says Spider-Man PS4 is disastrous storytelling, and I came up with some arguments against some of the points that he says, because I think not every point he says is quite just that good. Like, just as an example, he says that Spider-Man throws a guy through a window at a height and at a force where he can probably kill the guy, but there are several instances, not only just in this comic, in this game, but, like, in all of fiction, where humans just do things that they are not able to do in real life. Like, for example, like, the spider bite. You know, Peter Parker, not only, like, okay, let me tell you about this right now. The probability that you are getting a special power from a radioactive spider, you know, like, at all, is, like, very, very low. And the fact that Peter Parker, of all people, this nerdy-ass kid that's, like, weak as shit, the fact that he became Spider-Man through a spider bite like that is insane. Like, that is incredibly lucky. Not only that, there was a second person that was bit by the exact same spider. They didn't even get the same powers. The fact that 2 people who didn't even get the same powers, but they still both ended up with powers, ended up getting lucky enough to survive a radioactive spider bite is insanely lucky. Or it's possible that just humans are just more, like, defense, I guess. Like, just they have more defense. Like, they have more, like, what's it called? Like, the ability to just withstand a radiation more in the Marvel universe. Because, I mean, think about it. Like, you got Galactus that's constantly eating planets. There's no damn way that, like, just a tiny bit of cosmic energy just does not leak onto Earth just for a second. Like, not enough to turn people into superheroes or anything like the Fantastic Four, but just enough to, like, cause them to build immunity to some kind of radiation. Like, that is definitely something that is possible in the Marvel universe, especially since this is fiction. Like, fictional stories do not apply the same rules as real life. There is no reason for it to happen, and there is no way for it to happen, especially since the rules are not written automatically. They're not, like, you don't write the rules of a fictional story based off of just what happens in real life. In a fictional story, you are writing the rules yourself. So, like, no. Of course this guy's gonna survive from freaking, like, a height like that. People are just more defensive, like, have higher defense in that universe. And, you know, like, We can even point to a character specifically that, like, we could just argue against. Like, you know, that point. Like, you know the spider cat named Spiderman? Yeah, he's, like, in the backpack. Like, he said, like, I remember SK saying this, like, in a response video against PSM. He says that it's side content. Like, bullshit that it's side content. This is a mission that is literally forced upon you in the beginning of the game to show you how the PSM, that's the Friendly Spider-Man app, so it's FSM, I think. So, the Friendly Spider-Man app, basically you can accept, like, side quests, and these side quests, like, give you stuff, okay? Well, freaking, the first side quest you ever do in the game is always the Bodega Cat one, where you have to save Spider-Man, the cat, from a electrical plant. And I'd have to check back, like, in the game, but you cannot cancel this mission. You have to do it to continue the story. So, the fact that, like, you saying that it's side content is bullshit, because it's not. This is something that does happen in story. So, no, this is not side content. Second of all, the fact, like, he also puts on the damn backpack with the cat in it. So, like, yeah, if there was a cat in a backpack that was web swinging, he would not survive that. There is no chance. So, that cat living through freaking web swinging is insane, and just further proves the point that things in this universe have higher defense. Like, one thing that we know about Spider-Man is that he holds back his punches. Like, he holds back his punches really bad. Like, this man could probably break somebody's, like, hand just letting them punch him without rolling with the punch. So, yeah, this guy, like, if he's doing such brutal shit as, like, freaking punching them and, like, kicking them in the face, like, at full velocity without them dying is fine. Like, if he was holding back, his, like, punches would be weaker. But no, they're not. He holds back. But, like, if he's holding back just enough where it's not, like, lethal, but it's also not gonna, like, break people in a hospital, then straight up, this, like, fall isn't going to kill this guy, okay? So, there's that. I just went on a rant about... Damn, I just need to make a video about just ranting about that. Beyond that, there's also, this video I wanted to make about Minecraft 1.20, where I just say, like, problems I have with it. I mean, it is a good update. It's not a bad update. I like the update, but I feel like there's probably quite a few things that they could just fix that they don't do. That, like, I'm not gonna give an example because I'm gonna try to make that video, but it's probably not gonna come out for, like, the next 2 weeks. And there's also another video where I want to talk about how the end possibly could be updated, but I highly doubt they're gonna be able to. I don't think they're gonna do it my way. I think my way is probably gonna be the best way to do it, but I don't know. There's also what else did I want to make? There was another video I came up with. I just can't remember it. Oh yeah, it was a video about me talking about my, like, 20 my 20 dream projects that I came up with literally when I was sleeping. I literally print these things out like it's friggin', like, newspapers every damn Monday or something like that. It's insane. Anyways, why did I extend this damn video to, like, nearly 40 minutes of just me ranting? I'm so sorry. Holy crap. Okay, yeah, that's enough of me. Cue the damn outro with the Dream music that play, like, is it Dreams? I think it's Dreams. The Dreams PS4 game music from the Share Factory the Share Factory thing. And the background that has shooters twice, me, and like, a bunch of stuff. All that's, do it now. Hurry up. I'm not padding this. Just do it.